in the emails and the comments saying, hey, I want to start a laser business, but I have no interest in selling on Etsy. So I thought that's a great video idea. So today I'm going to show you 3 companies that are using lasers to make the products that they sell that have no presence on Etsy at all. Leading off the list is a company that I just recently started following, but I'm super impressed with what they're doing. They're called Medallion Maker Branding, and the product that they sell are branding medallions. I think the best way to get a handle on what this product is and who it's for is by going to their Instagram page first and checking out the tagged section. If you're unfamiliar with how Instagram works, the tagged section of a profile is other users tagging you in their content. And in the case of Medallion Maker Branding, it's mostly their customers tagging them with the products that they had made for them. Let's check out this video here. It gives a great view on what a branding medallion actually is. This account, Tierno Woodworking, is a customer of Medallion Maker Branding, and you can see him gluing in and tapping down a brass Maker's Mark medallion. So every piece of furniture that you own most likely has some kind of branding mark somewhere on it to show what company made it. And in some cases, when on the more artisan side, you would want a really nice, prominent, beautiful maker's mark that really shows the handcrafted nature of what you're doing. And if you keep scrolling down through their tag section on their Instagram page, you can see all kind of different medallions. So here's one on a snare drum. It's a little bit smaller, and I think that's probably anodized aluminum. And you can just keep going down. There's just all different types of branding medallions. Now, checking out their homepage, you can see we're greeted with a couple different options. So we have the option for brass medallions, anodized aluminum medallions, wood medallions, peel and stick medallions, and then the section for samples. Let's start with brass medallions because I love engraving brass. When you open the page, one of the first things you see here is order is for a batch quantity of 10. Now, we'll talk about that in a little bit. After that, you get some information on the shapes and styles and sizes that they offer. A little bit lower, you get to choose your size, and the price changes accordingly depending on what you choose. Couple options for surface mount or inlay, engraving style, finish. Do you want to add an engraved tumbler to your order, and then a place to upload your logo? As you can see, we're on a Shopify website, and whenever you have a product like this where you have a lot of different options that you want to offer to your customer, and especially if you're doing more of a business to business play like Medallion Maker Branding is doing here, having your own website, having a Shopify site is going to be the move. It's much better than doing this on a marketplace like Etsy that only has limited options that you can choose from. All right, let's look at some of these products here. So here is one of their brass medallions. Nice, beautiful round brass with a tapered edge there. And you can see this is a pretty deep engraving. Has a nice textured black background to really offset the brass. In this one, let's check out a couple more here. Again, a nice deep engraving. Looks really nice. There's an example of where your logo would go. Again, here's another one here. When doing product like this, you have to have a fiber laser. And personally, for me, I would want the most powerful fiber laser I could possibly afford. 100, 150 watt, 200 watt fiber laser. Especially if you're going to be doing these in like batch quantities of 10 like this, and you want to go that deep, I would want to make sure this is going as fast as possible. Trying to do something like this with like a 20 watt fiber laser, and let's say you had an order of like 50 medallions, that's going to take you a while. Now let's check out their wood medallions. You can see here, the order is for a quantity of 15. Before it was 10. With the wood medallions, the minimum quantity to order is 15. Similar with the information about the styles and the engraving and the templates and all that stuff, choosing your size, what kind of species of wood you want, what kind of inlay, what kind of, do you want to add a tumbler, that kind of stuff was similar to the previous listing. Now let's look at a couple of these engraving examples. You can see here different types of wood, these nice little engravings on them. These are all different business names. These are all the different wood medallions. And as far as lasers go, you could do this with a diode laser, but if you're doing this to be a legitimate business, you would want a nice CO2 laser. CO2 laser could handle all of this. As far as power goes, I wouldn't personally want anything more than like 100 watts because the higher up in power you go with the CO2 laser, the less detail you're going to get in your engraving because the beam is a lot fatter. And since you're not cutting any really thick wood, these are all pretty thin pieces of wood here, you don't need that extra 200, 150 watt power. You could do this much less. So I would go probably up to 100 watts on my laser. I would rather have a really fast RF laser, an RF tube or something like that with lower power, like a 30 watt RF tube or a 60 watt RF tube, and get these done a lot faster and keep that nice crisp engraving. And let's look at one more here. These are the peel and stick medallions. They're made out of acrylic actually, and they have a adhesive backing. So these are supposed to simulate the look of metal. You can see they look like bronze and brushed aluminum and pewter and stuff like that. But instead of having to cut actual metal and engrave actual metal, it's just acrylic. So the price is much less. And to do something like this, you would want a CO2 laser. I think you could probably do it on a diode laser, depending on what the acrylic looks like, but CO2 laser whenever you're working with acrylic. And one of the interesting things about this product is they're offered an only half sheet or full sheet. So when you're ordering your maker medallions from this company, you have to, however many fit on a half sheet or however many of your logo will fit on a full sheet, depending on the size, is how you order these. And one last look at the medallion gallery. So this is kind of just an overview, a portfolio of all the different types of medallions that they've made and all these different businesses that they've worked with. I love this one here. I love the fine line brass against that black background. And in this one here, this antiquing. So this is done by hand to get that type of antiquing where it's light and dark in different areas. Super nice stuff. The next company on the list is kind of an enigma to me because all the stuff we're told to do when running a laser business in the year 2024, like having a social media presence, having an e-commerce site, selling on Etsy, generally just being accessible and making it easy for customers to order from you. Well, this company does none of that. They don't allow you to order online, so there's no e-commerce, there's no Etsy shop, and there's absolutely no social media presence. There's no Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Pinterest, nothing. And despite all that, they're doing engraving work for some of the top businesses and tech companies in the world, and they're having so much success that they just announced production facilities in Europe to further their expansion and further their international reach. The company we're talking about is Milestone Cube. Let's start by looking at the products they offer because I think it's going to blow your mind the same way it blew my mind when I first saw this. Scrolling down, we see a couple products listed on a page here. And like I said before, this isn't an e-commerce site, so you can't actually order these products from this page. On the left, we have what's called the magnetic air planter. And on the right, we have what's called the cube planter. It's a hardwood, square hardwood block with a, I guess, CNC'd in the top. I'm not sure how they make them. That is designed to hold an air plant. And the only difference between these two is one is a little bit smaller, and I'm guessing since it says magnetic, it's designed to be magnetic in some way. And on the front, there's a laser engraving. On the left, we see for YouTube, and on the right, we see for Orion. I don't know what that is. Scroll down, and now we see another air plant stand designed to hold 3 air plants instead of 1. And this is the same as this one. This is a nicer picture. Again, just has a larger laser engraving on the front for Omnizant, which is a pretty large digital marketing platform if you've never heard of them. And that's it. Those are the 3 products that they offer. And 2 of them are pretty much the exact same product. Just 3 different size air plant stands. Since there's no social media presence, I can't dig around and find more photos of their products being made or anything. But here's a background. You can see the background of their product section here. you have a giant stack of these laser engraved airplane stands for, what's that say, Hill Country Tech guys. I don't know what that is, but they put in a pretty sizable order for these airplane stands. Since we must know more about this product, I went to the Cube Facts page, and in the background image, you can see there another laser engraved logo on a bunch of these single cubes. I don't know what that company is, but it looks like they ordered a nice amount of cubes there. On the right, you have a little bit of information about their supply chain, so they're very transparent with how their cubes are made. And then on the left, we have a list of a whole bunch of different ways that they suggest the cubes be used. So workshop attendees, for conference speakers, annual client gifts, branding incentives, new product launches. So you can see they're really tailoring this to corporate and business customers. There's nothing on here about, hey, you can buy one cube and give it to your dad. No, they're very specific with who they expect to order from them. And then a little bit lower here, we have this section where it says, do you have offices and clients around the world? And they say, absolutely, we do. And there's a list of some of these major cities all around the world where they've shipped some of their products to. And again, think of this. So all these giant corporations that they want to work with, a lot of these places are international businesses. So if they're going to be ordering for all their offices, they want to make sure that they're ordering from a company that can ship them all over the world. Let's head back to the homepage here. We can see a couple more photos of these planters in action here. So we have Bayer, Google. Here's one. Here's an engraving for Meta. That's a pretty big customer there. And then we have a couple for some names I don't know, like Blockhouse. It's a pretty big engraving. That looks great. And towards the bottom here, we have a big stack for the company Bayer. That's a massive name. And you can see them lined up on the conference room table there. So I'm assuming that's how they expect their product to be used by these companies. Now, what kind of laser would you need to do something like this? Well, obviously the planters aren't made on a laser, so they're sourced another way. I'm not going to comment on that because I don't make planters. But as far as the engraving goes, you could do that on a diode laser, although at their scale, they're definitely not doing that, or a CO2 laser. Nice flatbed CO2 laser, you could line all of those blocks up and engrave a whole bunch of them at once. Or you could have an army of Galvo CO2 lasers, which could engrave the front logo of that probably like 30 seconds each. So either way, this is not a complicated engraving, right? This is just a really shallow laser engraving the logo onto these pretty simple products, which are being sold all over the world to major corporations. Now let's head over to the clients page and take a look at some of the companies that Milestone Cube has done engravings for. And you see it's a pretty massive list. So we have Fidelity Investments, NASDAQ, Google, Four Seasons, Facebook, Sephora, VMware, VeriSign. This is like a who's who of corporate America. So imagine what an order would look like and what that would do for your company if you have multiple companies of this scale ordering from you. Last but certainly not least, I want to talk about one of my favorite laser-based businesses of all time. I come from the leather goods world, so I've been following this company for quite a while now, and I love the products that they're making. They're called Tactile Craftworks. Tactile Craftworks is run by these two ladies here based out of Milwaukee, Wisconsin. It was founded in 2014, and they make absolutely beautiful laser cut and laser engraved leather products. While they do make a wide range of different products, I want to focus here on their Atlas series products and their Park series products. Starting with the Park series, they have a range of products that all revolve around the national parks here in America. So as you can see here, we have Yosemite, Yellowstone, Sequoia, Grand Teton, Glacier, Arches. You get the idea. Now let's look at some of the products here. You can see these beautiful engraved journals. Checking out this listing here for the Glacier National Park Journal, it retails for $124. Currently has 3 5-star reviews. The text on the right-hand side here talks a little bit about Glacier National Park, talks about the leather, where the leather came from, the tannery, how it's made, and then what it includes. But what I really want to do is take a look at these photos. So let's do a little round through the photos first. So as mentioned, it's laser cut and laser engraved. You can see the engraving here is all the map details for Glacier National Park. Has a little badge down in the left-hand side saying map of Glacier National Park. And I think the most interesting part of this is what they decided to do with the closure for the notebook. So instead of just having a really basic, like flat edge, as most journals are, you can see they decided to take some part of the map and make it a cut line. And they cut a live edge into the end of the journal. So it gives it a real organic feel. And they even engraved some of the edge of the cut edge there to give it, again, some more texture, give it a real live edge appearance. And I think it just looks amazing. Similar to the Park series, they did a whole range of products called the Atlas series, which are based around all these major cities and places in America that are popular, like Austin, Texas, Atlanta, Georgia, Big Sur, California, Boulder, Colorado, Brooklyn, New York. You get the idea. Here's a listing for the Austin Map Journal. This is for Austin, Texas. You can see it retails for $124 and currently has 45-star reviews. Similar layout to the other one where it talks a little bit about Austin and the journal that you're getting. And again, a similar structure as the other journal from the Park series. It has a laser engraved map feature on the front and on the back, kind of wraps around. And then it has that live cut, live engraved edge that just gives it that extra emphasis. Now, what would you need to make something like this? Well, you can make these on a diode laser or a CO2 laser, but if you're a business the scale of what Tactile Craftworks is doing, you must have a CO2 laser. Because if we break it down, you're going to be laser engraving all of this fine detail. And that's a pretty tall notebook. I believe they're 9 inches tall. And you can see in the listing here just how far apart all the different details are. So you know this is not going to be a fast engraving. So you would need as quick of an engraving machine as you could possibly get. And you're also going to need enough power to cut through this leather cleanly. The leather isn't particularly thick in this case, but sometimes when you get a dense vegetable tan leather like this leather is here, it can take a little bit longer to laser cut than you think. So for me, I would want something like an 80 or 85 watt CO2 laser. Again, you don't need crazy amounts of power and you're going to be doing a lot of fine line engraving. So you want something that can keep the detail. So similar to my first answer on the first product, probably look at an RF tube or something like that. A diode laser could do this, but you're going to be sitting there for quite a while. Taking a look at some of the other things they have going on, they're also selling these products wholesale, which means they're selling them to other retail companies, which are in turn selling the product for them. And if we take a look at their stockists page, you can see a list of all of the stores, all the retail shops in the United States that sell their products. And by the speed that I'm scrolling here, you can see that the list is rather long. So they're doing something right. And another thing that they're doing is taking all of the designs they've already made, all the wallets and flasks and journal covers, and offering custom logos. So this could be for other businesses. This could be for corporate gifts, similar to like what Milestone Cube is doing. If there was a company that wanted like 100 notebooks with their company's logo on it, Tactile Craftworks will do that for you. And that is one of the major benefits of owning a laser, is you can just pop a logo in there and laser engrave whatever logo gets sent to you directly on your products and ship them out. So look at this. You have custom logo passport wallets for $410, custom logo card wallets for $350, custom logo journals for $420. And again, targeting other businesses, business-to-business transactions are a great idea because businesses spend money. All right, that's it for today's list. Thanks for watching. If you liked anything you saw in this video, I would greatly appreciate if you could tap the like button. And if you're someone out there who is still searching for a laser and you're not exactly sure what kind of laser you should be getting, I added a link in the video description below to a new section on my website called Help, I Need a Laser, where if you fill out this questionnaire here of some basic questions about what kind of stuff you're looking to make, it'll send it over to me, and then I'll personally email you back some suggestions on what direction you should look into. And I'll catch you guys next time.